Hey everyone, welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very requested video, which is how to remove labels from your jars. When going zero waste, you will probably notice your accumulation of mason jars drastically increases. I know that mine has. I really like to reuse old jars though. I get these from friends and family. I think it's great to use something that is already in the waste stream. If you saw my series on recycling and that recycling is broken, you know that glass recycling isn't super efficient. And one of the best ways to reduce the emissions, because glass is really heavy, so of course when it travels it actually produces more emissions than either aluminum or plastic, is to reuse the jar. So the number one thing we're gonna want to do is we wanna remove this label. But as you can tell, that comes off doesn't come off very well. So one of the best ways to do that is to simply pour boiling water in your jar, let it sit for a few minutes, and then these labels right here should come off pretty easy. So all that you're left behind with is a little bit of glue residue, and I'll show you the fastest way to get that off. So I have a kettle of boiling water here. I'm gonna do try to do a good job of not spilling it on myself. And we're just gonna pour it into the jars. I'm just gonna let this sit and let it cool down. So probably for at least 10 to 15 minutes. And then of course we don't wanna waste this water. So the best thing to do is just throw it back in here, and I'm gonna use it to water my plants. So it's been a few minutes, the water is still really warm, but that's great because it's gonna have loosened up all the glue on our labels. So I'm just gonna peel these off and then we'll be on to next steps. You know what? Probably gonna pour the water out of these before I do that so I don't spill it all over myself. For time's sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and do 2 of these jars, but the other ones will eventually peel off. What I'm going to use is some baking soda, dish soap, and combine those, add a little bit of water so I can create a paste, and I'm gonna put it on the jars. You can see there's like a ton of residue left over. Not a ton on this one, but still some, because that's the worst part. Getting the label off isn't really the hardest part. The hardest part is dealing with that residue. This will just make it so it wipes completely clean. This is not an exact recipe. I'm just eyeballing it, just putting in a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of dish soap. I have my recipe for homemade dish soap that I really like in my book, 101 Ways to Go Zero Waste. I will link to that down below if you're interested. There you go, a few pumps. I'm gonna mix it all together. It's come together in a really nice paste. I don't think I need to add any water, so now I'm just gonna put it on the jar and spread it around. It doesn't have to be a super thick layer, a thin layer works. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna let this dry and then we'll come back in a few hours and all of that residue should wash right away, so we're left with sparkling clean jars. So clean. All right, so that is the easy way that I clean all of the labels off of my jars. I did get around to doing the other 3 a little bit later, so I hope you can forgive me for not showing that on camera. But if you found this useful or helpful, please give it a thumbs up or comment down below. And of course, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week with a new video.